Yes, yes, Sir Hairless here. We are back with some Nightwish. This is their song Lanternlight. I've received many recommendations for this one, saying it's different in style to the other Nightwish performances or songs that I've seen. A couple of comments were saying that this one is a ballad. It's a recent song from 2024 from their latest album, Yesterwynde. The lyrics are on screen now. Please have a pause and a read. Notice the very last word, Yesterwynde, the album name. These lyrics, they're almost speaking about some sort of departing, you know? Moving towards the light. Death, maybe? This will be my first Nightwish experience that is not Wacken 2013. If you want to see my previous Nightwish videos, the playlist is linked below in the description.
Gone is the hurt, the weight. Gone is the warmth of day. A stray boat saved happy memories engraved. Oh, into a velvety night beneath the lanternlight. Last night brought the heaviest of snows, melting the songs of old.
Now the strings coming in, orchestral. I was going to say it seems quite folky in certain ways, and then having the strings, the violins coming in, even though they're more orchestral and classical sounding than your typical folk fiddle might be, it adds to this effect, or slightly mystical in a way.
Tie the boat, ride a new one soon, sending me to the drowning moon, far above the lantern light.
Yeah, by the lyrics, that's the first two verses done there. Definitely quite different to the Nightwish songs I've seen so far. I don't need to explain why. I think that's quite self-explanatory. One of the obvious differences or absences from a textural perspective, thinking about what instruments we're hearing, there's no beat, there's no percussion of any sorts. So the rhythmic or percussive importance is then transferred to other instruments. And in this case, when you have the long sustained notes played in the violins or the strings as well, we have the cellos, it sounds like playing an octave down, echoing them. Amongst all this, we have the piano, what we start with. Playing at every possible beat or half beat. Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. We are in triple time, so there are 3 beats per bar. 1, 2, 3, and the piano is playing on every half beat. 1, 2, 3, except for the end of the phrase. There, where it doesn't play on the half beat. Interesting note too in terms of harmony, but I'll touch on that in a bit. We'll do our first pause here, and before we go over and discuss what we've heard so far, I was actually recommended a video a couple of times, which is Floor talking about how they made this album. I think it could be quite nice to watch that. So after this Lanternlight reaction, we'll watch that video and discuss it a little bit. So if you want to see that and watch it with me, head on over to the video, which is linked in the pinned comment below. All right, well, let's talk about what we've heard so far. If you don't want to hear my thoughts or analysis, go to the timestamp. I was mentioning that piano part, how it's very rhythmic. In terms of the harmony, things are fairly simple, straightforward. We get one chord, and that is G major. With these, are they hums? Are they people humming, or is it some synthetic strings? Not moving until the very end. There are just a couple of notes in there that make the harmony a little bit more interesting. Let's hop over to the piano to quickly show you. It will be easier to explain. So this is the piano part in G. all the notes are in the chord of G. This is like an arpeggio outlining G. Except for two. It's this one and this one. The first one is like a passing note, you know, it's not too noticeable. We return back to this note. It keeps the rhythm going. The second time though, when there isn't a return to this note, we're left with that dissonance. We bring the G up. That's the clash we're hearing. Onto the meter. As mentioned before, this is in triple time, so there are 3 beats per bar. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, which is the common time of a waltz, for example. I'm not saying this is a waltz. It's not. This is not something where people would get up and start waltzing around a room to, but I think it certainly adds a element of something to the music. I'm not sure what. Maybe you can help me with a word here. Comment down below how you think that affects the music. The word that I would use is lull-y, almost a bit floaty in a way. Things seem a tiny bit more ethereal, like they're floating on air.
Gone is the hurt, the way.
Piano very nicely harmonizing with her melody.
Gone is the warmth of day.
And Floor singing so gently. Such a contrast to the power I've seen her sing in some of those Wacken performances. It's a delicate song, delicate subject matter, delicate video. Things are quite reserved in general. And the harmony also is, but not in a way we might expect. The introduction I mentioned is just one chord, that G chord. It doesn't move. Still in G. Still in G.
Gone is the hurt,
Now we've changed.
the way.
Now back to G.
Gone is the warmth
There's that same change, but now
of day.
a new different chord. This time it's a minor chord. The previous 2 chords we've heard have been major, which inherently seem a bit happier, a bit more uplifting. Minor has darker undertones to it. Then what happens?
A stray boat
Another new chord, again minor.
saved happy memories and
Now we've returned to major. And what are the lyrics there? Happy memories.
stray boat saved happy memories and craved into
Her voice there, very folky, with that little ornament, what we'd call a turn. And she almost does a voice break on it.
into a velvety night.
There's just something so folky about this. You know what? I'm not even sure folky is the right word. It's reminding me of classic Irish or Scottish songs. What is that word I'm looking for? If you know, let me know in the comments. I'm having a mind blank. Anyway, back to the harmony. We were talking about everything being a little bit reserved. Well, they are not reserved in how many chords they use. We've seen some really interesting modulations and harmonic progressions, or in other words, which chords they use and when, in some of their other performances. This one is much calmer, and it would be out of place if they just start doing weird modulations, key changes. So here's the first verse, and each of these letters above the lyrics, G, C, E minor, are the chords. We can see we have a number of different chords. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 different chords in this first verse, which is quite a lot, to be honest, for a verse. But it's the choice of these chords and why they sound so natural and close together that interests me. This is the circle of fifths. Please don't worry too much about what it is. All you need to know is that in the dark green circle on the outside, these are major chords, and on the inside circle, they are the minor chords. If you move around the circle of fifths sequentially, the music will probably sound quite nice. It's to do with the harmony, we don't need to get into it, but basically the keys or the letters that are next to each other, we can think of them as being related. Not only that, but every major key in the outside circle has its own related minor key on the inside. So, for example, G, the opening chord, its related minor key would be E minor. C major's related minor would be A minor here. So, Of these 6 chords that we get in the first verse, let's find them on the circle of fifths. I'll help you. It's just these 6 contained in here. This shows that Nightwish are keeping things very purposefully calm, reserved, not too crazy, soft, sentimental, all to enhance the emotion of the music, I think. Let's carry on. I'll go back and carry on. I feel a bit silly now. Just the second after I paused, it suddenly changed. Well, there's a surprise. Based on the comments recommending this one, I was under the assumption this would just be a calm, soft, slow ballad. Now am I to expect percussion, changes in time, in harmony? I don't know. I guess let's find out. Discordance. It's very eerie.
I am the snow on your palm. I am the sea.
Oh, well, there's a key change. Floors moved up now, especially compared to the first verse when she was singing fairly low down. Yeah, I don't even know what we'd call that section we just listened to. We had this instrumental interlude. Then the vocals come back in with male harmony underneath, almost like a drone in many respects. Very eerie, but also quite encapsulating, captivating, calming, soothing. I'm getting kind of conflicting ideas right now. Definitely interesting though. Definitely interesting. From where we carried on, the rhythmic vitality that I said was in the piano because we don't have any percussion. Immediately now that's transferred to the lower strings. There's definitely an intensity to it, even though it's quite a calm bit of music. And it's funny, I say lower strings, but there's an even lower strings. It sounds like a double bass, could be a cello, but I think a double bass. That's being bowed right at the bottom, really providing this just low, vibrating drone underneath everything. And this allows the piano to now move to a chordal structure. Playing these chords, just really affirming the harmony we are hearing. What are chords? Well, they're just a combination of notes that make up harmony. And when you get different chords, you get different harmony. The rising lower string. We do get some discordance in here as well. Subtle, but enough to make me go, that's naughty. There, for example, we've got this, the middle strings part, the cha-cha-cha-cha, they're alternating between. And then you have that rising piano part leading into this, separating in contrary motion. Let's add in those other parts. And now we get this D minor chord that's fine, but in there as well, there's do, which is this note, which is the minor sixth of the scale. If D is 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, clashing directly with that. But it is tricky. It's really, really subtle. Almost like the lower strings are starting on it and then sliding back down, resolving. Tension and consequent resolution. Anyway, let's not dwell on that, but there are these very subtle things that we're hearing that are increasing the tension. The rhythmic intensity, the lack of vocals now, everything is purely instrumental. It's a shift in the mood almost. And of course, we have the video to enhance everything we're seeing. Everything we're seeing, everything we're hearing. The piano is becoming a little bit more elaborate. We're having these little twinkles. And I feel like there's a crescendo going on, especially again in the strings, becoming gradually louder. Really thick texture, really thick texture, which subsides when floor comes in. Chromatics in the piano.
I'm in the light and flood.
The bell as well. Ignore that poetry. Bells are really interesting. They're these huge resonating instruments. You bang them, then the frequencies vibrate. They are resonating. Because of this, we have all these harmonics that are created. It's not as simple as just saying there's one pitch to it, like if you play a piano note.
Light and flood.
The chord here, D minor, and the bell is a D, the root of this chord. But because of these frequencies, these harmonics, it's not just the D we're hearing all these other notes in and around it that really disrupt the purity of this sound. Everything is reduced. Floor's vocals are the center point now, her lovely vibrato coming through. This bell, such a token sound, so rich in history. They've been around for millennia, so closely related to religion. And when I hear a bell tone like that, I think of death. I think of funerals. As I said in the introduction, the lyrics to me do seem to be about some sort of departing or departure. So I am getting kind of dark undertones, to be honest. Then the harmony comes in.
I'm in the fall.
In perfect parallel harmony with floor. So as she moves down stepwise, so does the lower part. Usually in harmony, when one part moves down, one part might stay for a little bit and then join just to fit better with the surrounding harmony. Here, they're in direct parallel motion, like there's a metal stick in between both of the parts. So as one moves, the other one has to move with it.
I'm in the fall.
Both of them singing in a similar style, not really vibrato, not too much conviction behind the sound. We've got a picture of, what's this, like a stopwatch or a clock? Has time stopped? Is time running out? Are we approaching death? I feel like everything here has a meaning, and I obviously can't go and try and talk about everything because we'd be here all day. The parallel motion, though, does stop on the next phrase.
I'm
The lower part, not moving from there, acting as a drone. And this type of singing in harmony, it's very redolent of medieval singing, when harmony wasn't as developed in the Western world, just quite eerie.
shaping pebbles roll astray.
Kind of like plain chant, like monks, not so much at the end of the phrase. Yeah, really interesting. Let's carry on, see what else is in store for us. If you enjoy these videos or find them helpful, please consider supporting me. Patreon has a bunch of exclusive benefits, behind the scenes videos, additional reaction content, Q&A videos, and more. For a one-time donation, you can donate me a hot chocolate at the Buy Me a Coffee link, or become a YouTube member for these groovy emojis and membership badges. And a huge thank you to these lovely people on the screen now.
I am the secret stream, lost beneath your feet. I am you who climbed off my back not long ago, a sheltered song in
Yeah, some really cool things here. Just where we paused, this falling scale. Interesting harmony underneath it. I won't go into it, but it's not what you'd expect. It sounds a little bit peculiar. Falling, sinking, not the most positive of musical expressions. I do like the occasional rhythmic ambiguity we get, even just with this lantern light. Overall, it's still fitting with the musical structure, the triple time. Lan, 2, 3, 1, 2. But then the piano came in on the third beat instead of waiting for the next bar or measure. Seems a bit premature, but then Floor kind of rescinds it and comes in with this nice long note. There was another interesting one earlier on thousands. I can't remember the exact lyric. Let's find it. Ah, yeah, this was it. For 1,000 more tomorrows. Complete rhythmic change on that line, almost as if it's telling us there are 1,000 more tomorrows. There's always more coming and we don't know what's coming. It's like the breath of life that comes with a new idea. Maybe I'm just thinking this because I have been thinking about mortality quite a bit with this song, as I mentioned before, based on the lyrics and everything. Speaking of the rhythms, now in this last section we've got another rhythmic idea being introduced subtly again in the strings. Up and down, up and down. Can you hear it in the background, like these arpeggios? That's hinting at compound time, where each individual beat is split into 3 smaller beats. The piano intro, we have 3 beats, 1, 2, 3, that are split into 2 smaller beats. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Well, now the strings, 3 smaller beats, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So inherently, we've now got conflicting rhythmic foundations. It adds to the urgency, the intensity of the music. We get some hints of some sort of percussion as well to further this intensity. Floor as well, singing softly here. Let's move forward about 10 seconds. Power and everything else along with it. We even have more vocal harmony lines. And there was a really nice instrumental line at the top there. I was thinking now with all this larger sound, it's like film music. I could imagine this being the soundtrack to a film. Interestingly, I believe I said that with a couple of their Wacken performances that I've seen, but they are obviously very different. But one of the main reasons I said that was at some point here, these horns start coming through. And I love when a horn comes in. It makes me always think of battle. And what is battle? Intense. There's just added intensity in so many ways here. Blimey, I have been talking so much already. We need to finish this. It's a fairly long song, so let's carry on.
I walk now toward the trees. I am the secret stream. The night falling at my feet. Into the forest of Yesterwynde.
Quite deep. Wow. Eerie ending. That last section, I think, got to me the most started making my body get these weird tingly sensations down my arms and back. And the film running out of tape, expiring. I'm standing by my mortality idea. It's like time's run out. That ending though, so peculiar, so interesting. I just mentioned how the male voice was deep, and then it goes very deep, but then we get this entry up there. And the bass down there. Oh. Sudden major shift as well. And the chords in the piano. It's not just a repeated chord. It's just a bit strange. Especially with that chromatic chords in between. Really, again, what's the word? Ethereal? Elvish? Fairy-like? I don't know. Who is the male singer in this one? Let me have a Google. Oh, it's Troy Donockley. Very interesting and very different compared to Marco, whom I heard singing in the Wacken 2013 performances I've seen. Well, I think I've spoken enough on this one. Very, very interesting. We've really had a mix of so many things in there, and overall it remains a very calm and eerie and almost surreal song. We had rhythmic contrast and changes, harmonic contrast and changes, whilst keeping things quite restricted. Same with the instrumentation, the different types of singing, nice lyrics as well, interesting lyrics making us think, and of course the video. Let me know your thoughts on this one and other performances or songs you'd like to see me do by Nightwish. A reminder once more, we're now going to go and watch Floor talking about how they made this album, so if you want to see that and join me on that one, head on over to the video which is linked in the pinned comment. Thank you as always for watching. Would appreciate a like, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you next time.